So I wanted to talk real quick about outerwear and what we do to get ready for long trips. One of the things that we think about when we're riding our bike is making sure we're ready for all kinds of weather. So we make sure that we prep our jackets and our chaps in case it rains. So that means, and also our boots. So that means we need to protect them and clean them up and make them ready for the trip. We do have rain gear, which we bring, but as everybody knows, when you're riding the bike, you can't always anticipate when the rain's going to come. You don't always have the ability to pull off and put on the rain gear that you need to when you need to. So we take the extra precaution of making sure our outer layers are protected. So I'll walk you through that. As you can see here, I'm polishing my boots, mine and my wife's. So the whole point, and what we learned in the military, and it's kind of cliche about constantly polishing your boots, but the problem is that since they're leather, they absorb water pretty well, and the whole idea of putting wax on the boot and polishing it up is to provide some sort of moisture barrier for the leather, so that as we're riding down the road, of course, the feet are closest to the ground and they get a lot of splashes and stuff. It's pretty imperative for us to make sure that we protect our boots as well as possible. This is the second round of actually applying the polish and buffing it up. So I did a round earlier today. I go back and I see where it absorbs, the leather absorbs the wax, and then I put on another coat, and then I just make sure that I have a protection on there instead of just exposed leather. So that is polishing the boots. So I'm about to work on my chaps. As you can see, there's some damage. Over the last year, I've lost some weight, and so they've gotten a little bit, they've fallen down a little bit, and then, but the problem is that because they've fallen down a little bit farther, they get hooked up underneath my boots, and they'll get snagged on the floorboard. So not something I do all the time, but just wanted to point out that there is some additional maintenance that I do on occasion. And what I'm doing here is basically cleaning up the edge based on the damage that is visible. I'm using a ruler to kind of make it, at least make my OCD a little bit happier, so that at least it feels like it's straight. But the reality is that I'll cut it based on what I really see as far as damage. But I want to at least try to get kind of a straight line. So. As I mentioned earlier, I like to protect the jacket as well, at least provide it some additional waterproofing. It's a leather jacket, so it's similar to the boots where it will absorb water given the opportunity. Now, there's a coating on it, right, from the manufacturer, but over time that wears down a bit. And so what I do here is I spray a treatment on there to basically provide some waterproofing. It's not necessarily intended to be 100% efficient, obviously, but at least it will provide some protection and hopefully eliminate some of the water that hits it when it hits it. I don't do this very often. I certainly don't do this every long trip that we take, but maybe once a season, maybe twice if it's been pretty wet. So just going through and spraying it down, getting it a little wet, and then hanging it up. So my wife's got a different jacket. It's obviously not leather, and it's also supposed to be waterproof, and she actually swears by it. She says it works really great. So in theory, according to the manufacturer, I don't need to add any sort of additional protection to it, but I'm overkilling this and providing some additional protection anyway. So just something I do. But again, I don't do it very frequently. We went through a really rough weather pattern in the Pacific Northwest back in June, and I just wanted to make sure that we're protected in case there was any additional damage based on all the weather that we had. Yeah, it was really wet, and we never really got dry. But this kind of application really does help. And lastly, I actually provide some protection on the chaps. Again, it's the same spray. It's basically a water-resistant application. Just soak it and then ignore it. Let it hang up and dry. But spray it till it's wet. Again, the worst part as far as weather is concerned are the boots. They get the wettest. The chaps get hit pretty bad next, especially on the bottom, and then the jackets does get some as well, but it's not nearly as bad because of the fairing and everything like that on the ultra limited. But that's why I make sure that we still hit the chaps with the sprays, because it really needs as much protection as possible, especially in really damp, rainy weather. So anyway, that's the chaps. Okay, that's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. If you have any suggestions, I'm always interested. And as usual, please like and subscribe and comment below. Thank you.